In this video, we're going to talk about life insurance. Is this something that you need? Is this something that's important? Is this something that you need to prioritize while you are also investing? How much life insurance should you get? Should you start life insurance when you are young, or should you get it when you are older? When is the best time to get it? All of your questions about life insurance, we are going to answer in this video. So if you want to know more about life insurance, then you have to check this video out. Hey guys, so in the past few videos, we talked about investing in the stock market, businesses, forex, cryptocurrencies, mutual funds, and other investment classes. And a lot of you have been sending questions about life insurance. So we're gonna kickstart a series on life insurance, and I just have one goal in mind for this. I just want to give you as much information and data as possible so that you as an investor can make the right decision, because at the end of the day, there's no such thing as the best investment, but you have to find an investment that fits you. You have to find an investment that works for you. And with a plethora of information, I hope that this helps you analyze which will work for you. So in any point in this video, feel free to put in your questions, because we will make a bunch of content based on the questions that you are making as well. To kick things off, I want to start this question right off the bat. Do I believe in life insurance? I believe in life insurance. I have life insurance. Life insurance is even one of the first investments that I ever got into. And what's interesting about that is people know me as a stock market guy, but you have to remember this. It's also about protecting yourself. It's also about thinking that what if things would go wrong? What if things would not go the way you plan it to be? You need to be protected. You need a hedge. One of the reasons why I got life insurance, because in my opinion, as I started analyzing also and going towards investments, you have to remember this. There are investments that will make your money grow. There are investments that will preserve your capital. There are investments also that will give you liquidity, meaning when you need the money right away, you can easily get it. But there are also investments that are meant to protect you. The biggest expectation for it is not really to give you amazing growth, but it's there that when something bad happens, you are protected. Now, let me share to you my journey on investing in life insurance. And here's what's so interesting. People know me as a person who's investing in the stock market. But one of my first investments, way before I invested in bonds, way before I invested in other businesses, and way before I invested in the stock market, was I was already investing in life insurance. And what's so interesting about that is people say don't get life insurance early, but when I was in my early 20s, I started getting life insurance already. It was my entry point. No, it allowed me to have my feet wet. And as you all know, there are certain life insurances now also that could give you exposure to equity, and those were my first investments when I started out. And the thing about that is, if you are just starting out and you don't have any investments yet, it's the small steps like that that will give you the confidence that, hey, kaya ko pala to. And for me, that was basically it. I know there are a lot of other investments that feel a bit complicated, that feel, this is so hard to understand. But in my early 20s, as a 23-year-old employee at that time, I felt that, hey, I could understand this. Hey, this is not something that needs a lot of analysis on my end. And in the same way, it's something that I can actually do right now. So for those who are asking what essentially is life insurance basically is a protection tool. Meaning, you pay this small amount and then you get protected this large amount. Whoever's relying on you, your family, your relatives, your kids, they will get an amount of money that will allow them to make their dreams happen. Please remember this. In the world of investing, the reason why we invest is because we have goals. We may have goals to retire at 40 years old. We may have goals to retire at 60 years old. We want to have money that when our kids hit college, they would have a fund for it. But there are certain things that happen in between that may not be in our control. The insurance will take care of it. The insurance will provide for that premium so that your goals, your plans, your dreams will live on, and it will go beyond you. And one of the reasons why I saw that life insurance was also important, because please remember this, the money that you have, your wealth, it should be something that's generational, multi-generational, meaning it should be something that should outlive you. It should be something that even if you're no longer here on this earth, the fruits of your labor, what you worked hard for, the next generation, your family, your children, and your children's children should benefit from it. As I started out as an investor, what's so interesting about this is I got multiple insurances already. And people would say, why did you do that? Bakit mo ginawa yun? Why did you get a lot of insurance already? I knew a couple of things. Number one is, if something would happen to my parents, essentially, the responsibility would fall on me and or my brother. So when we were starting out, what we did was a very, very wise decision, which a lot of people would think is, ba't mo gagawin yan? Masyado morbid. What we did was, we insured our parents and we were the beneficiaries. I repeat, we got a premium insurance for our parents that we had an assumption that if something would happen to them, we would be the beneficiaries of it. And my rationale with that and why I did that early on was basically this. My parents are older than me. And that being said, my mentality there was this. If something happens to them, I don't want to destroy my savings. I don't want to destroy my investments. That if I'm saving for this, and this, if something happens to them, I don't want to take out money from that, because most likely that saving and that investment is allotted for something else. And that's why I knew I had to hedge. Whatever expenses that will entail that, I don't have to worry about it anymore. But in the same way, I also got insurance for myself. My family at that time, when I was still single also, won't have to worry about me also, because please remember this, you may not have kids, you may not be married yet, you may not be even a breadwinner, but if something happens to you, there will be costs attached to it, regardless if it's via sickness, regardless if it would be funeral costs. I know this sounds a bit morbid, but you have to understand this. Preparation time is never wasted time. The sooner you talk about these things, the sooner you prepare also for these things, because you've done your work right now while you're younger, okay kayo. Solve kayo. Hindi na mahihirapan yung may iwan. They already know what to do with it, and you are not being a burden. And that was my intention in this. The goal of getting life insurance, basically, is so that you are not a burden to people na aasa sa inyo or umaasa sa inyo, or people na maiiwanan, regardless if they are your parents, regardless if they are your kids, regardless if they are your wife, or other people who are depending on you. People would say, ano bilhin mo? You get term, you get insurance with investments. What's the best way to do? What's the best way to go about it? And I always tell people, if there's no such thing as the best investment, but there's such a thing as an investment that fits you, in the same way, for insurance, there's no such thing also as the best insurance, but there is an insurance plan that will fit you. And my opinion about it is, I don't want to learn things just out of academic principles. I wanted to try it. And that's what I want to submit to all of you. Since insurance plans are not that expensive, you try small amounts and you try both. Of course, if your salary is not that big, it would be prudent also to get a cheaper plan. But if your salary gets bigger, more people are relying on you, you can also increase and start getting more insurances. Please remember, an insurance is something that is evolving, meaning you have more responsibilities, you need to get more insurance. You need, for example, to hedge up against your retirement, your wife may need money, or your spouse may need money if something bad happens to you, or your kids would need this amount of tuition fee for high school and college. You need to cover all of that. And the more people you want to cover, the more people you want protected, the more significant insurance will be, the more you need to get insurance for yourself. So I want to clear this out. People are saying that, wag na muna mag-insurance kasi bata pa tayo, mag-invest na tayo sa stock market or mag-bonds na lang tayo para meron tayong passive income. You have to understand this. They work together. They are not competing with each other. You use your stocks for growth, you use your stocks to get dividends, but you use your insurance to give you protection. You use your insurance that if something bad happens, you get a guaranteed amount. Kasi you have to understand this. 10 years from now, you won't know how much money your stocks, how big your stocks will be, or how small they will be. But if you have an insurance, you have something set in stone that if something bad happens, your family, people dependent on you, can have a specific amount. And that's so important if there's a lot of people who are dependent on you, if there's a lot of people sa sweldo mo, sa kita mo, umaasa. So my suggestion is to sit down, do the numbers, do your research, find it. At this phase in your life, if you're 25, single, this is an insurance plan that will work for you. When you start to get married, you're 28, you're 30, you're 32, this is an insurance plan that will work for you. Then when you start having kids already, then those kids also will be reliant on you, and then you also need to save up for their tuition. This is the amount of insurance that you get. When you are nearing 50, 60 also, this is the amount of insurance that you need to get. You want to hedge up against critical illnesses, this is the amount of insurance that you need to get. Or when you also get older, you want to protect yourself from estate taxes, this is the amount of insurance that you need to get. What I'm saying is this: it's so important for you to have insurance, but in the same way, it's also as important to know magkano talaga yung insurance na kailangan mo ngayon. Kasi kung kulang yung insurance, sayang din. Hindi rin ma-maximize ng family mo, ng dependents mo, yung amount na talagang kailangan nila. So what is life insurance to me? Life insurance, in my opinion, number one, is a hedge of protection. The stock market is all about growth. The stock market is all about finding companies that will give you the ability to make money over a period of time. If you are a business person, your primary responsibility is to be good at your business. Your primary responsibility is to double down and maximize whatever you have so that your business will grow. And having insurance is like that safety net, that buffer that you can go all in, go full throttle on your business. But in the same way, if things go bad, hindi mo naisipin yung pamilya mo, hindi mo naisipin, ano mangyari kung may nangyari sa akin? Because you have that insurance element. And in my opinion, that's what allows me to go all out. That's what allows me to become aggressive also in the way I invest. That allows me also to be a bit more aggressive as compared to a lot of people, because I know that I've covered my bases. In terms of proper financial planning, insurance is in the bottom layer, meaning it's foundational, meaning before you go to riskier assets, before you go to riskier types of investing, before you go to something that's more volatile, before you go to something that's a bit scary, you need to have your insurance first. That's so important. That's why right now in my mid-30s, I can go all in, I can go all out, I can be aggressive. That even in the midst of the financial crash, even when we saw markets go down no March, I wasn't scared because I knew I had my bases covered, because I knew that I wasn't just sticking irresponsibly na habol ko lang kumita. Insurance is there to give you a balance. Insurance is there to give you a hedge of protection, that it's not just all about investing, it's not just all about growing money, it's always about also being responsible. Don't just focus on how much you could possibly earn. Think about also that how much you could lose if you don't do it well. So insurance to me gives me protection in the prime years of my life, and in the same way, it will also give me protection when I am relatively older already, when I'm well past beyond my prime. And in the same way, while I am at the prime of my years, whatever money I can have, I can put in business, I can invest, because I know I covered my bases by investing in insurance. What else is insurance to me? Life insurance gives me cash flow, or at least my family cash flow, if things don't go the way I want it to be. The reason why I say this is because no one has a crystal ball. No one can forecast how strong you will be, how healthy you will be, how good you will be, and how active you will be still in working. Preparing today is a function of being responsible for the future, because we do not know how things will go. Better to be prepared today so that when bad things happen, or things that we don't want will possibly happen, because you did the work, you did the time, you studied, you won't be faced. And in the same way, when another recession will hit years from now, because you have investments, because you have insurance, you will be okay. So, should you get insurance? The answer to that is yes. It's not a question whether you should get insurance. It's a question of what fits you. What's a plan that's so related to what your needs are? Do you need just direct protection? Do you need something that will cover for your health? Or do you need something because you are saving up for something later on in the future because you need that money for a future goal? Are you saving up for retirement, for a business, for your kids' schooling? Because at the end of it all, that's the most important. It's the most responsible thing that you can do as an investor. Covering your bases is not the most awesome thing. It's not something that's talked about. It's because it's not something that's glamorized. It's not something that this is where you will get your 400, 500% return. It's not about that. But having your foundation done properly, setting the right foundation, will give you the confidence which will allow you to have other investments that will give you those amazing returns. But it's something that's so essential right here, right now. You put your money in insurance not just for the goal of making money. That's part of it, that's possible, but you put your money also in insurance with the goal of protecting your most valuable asset. Who's that valuable asset? It's you. You are your most valuable asset because in you lies the potential to make money. And if that potential is gone, the insurance will take care of it. The insurance will take care for the lost potential that you had. You need to get insurance to fill a need that works for you. And I'll say this over and over. What works for me may not work for you. If 5 million insurance works for me, for some it might be lesser than that. For some it may be more than that. So you have to do the numbers. You have to figure it out because that's why personal finance is personal. And insurance gives you that certainty when there's a lot of uncertainty going on. It's good to have a fixed amount that you know you can depend on. It's good to know that you have this amount of coverage that you can rely on when things may not be going well. And I'll say this over and over. It's not a question whether a recession will happen. It's only a question of when. So if we are in the midst of a recession right now, there will be a recession 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years from now. And I don't know how the economy will react. I don't know how the economy will respond. And I don't know how my investments will be. But what I do know is this. If you have something that will cover you, will protect you, that you can get this amount no matter what happens, that you get this coverage no matter what happens, that you get this amount if you get sick, it removes a lot of those uncertainty behind. It's not our responsibility to predict what will happen to the future, but it's our responsibility to prepare with what we have right now. It's our responsibility to sow the seeds that will allow us to be protected as we get old. And I'll say this over and over and over again. If you are in your 30s, you are in your 40s, do not waste the prime years of your life not putting in money into the ground, not preparing, not protecting yourself, because there will come a point in time that if you tarry, you don't do stuff, when you get older, hindi mo na magagawa yung capacity na paglagay mo and pag-invest mo ngayon. And please remember this, in the world of investing, time is your greatest asset. The reason why I'm sharing it to you also because it developed the discipline in me that, hey, I need to be responsible with a fixed amount that I need to invest on a regular basis so that later on, when more money comes my way, I already know how to handle it. I know what to do with it. Because if you're faithful with small amounts, if you're faithful with little, when more money comes in, you will become faithful with much. The reason why I'm investing right now in other asset classes because I knew that having life insurance was a stepping stone, was a building block for me. And if you're scared to enter the world of investing, I highly suggest that you keep on studying, you keep on trying investments that will give you the right foundation. The heights of where you will be in your finances will only be determined by how strong and how solid your financial foundation is. We're gonna do a whole series on life insurance, but please put your questions below and we're gonna try to make more videos off of that because I know there's so much to talk about when we go into the topic of insurance. But if you want to know more about insurance, in the description below, we have links for AXA Life Insurance to give you as much details as possible so you can kickstart your road to financial freedom, but not just financial freedom, to kickstart your journey to have the right foundation when it comes to your money. To put this to a close, life insurance is an asset and at the same time a risk management tool. Better build and stockpile assets like this instead of buying stuff that you don't need, stuff that 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now won't even matter. Think about the cell phones that you have bought that right now don't have even value. Think about the rubber shoes that you bought that 5, 10, 20 years later won't even have value as well. You need to stockpile as much assets as you can as possible, because the more assets that you stockpile for you, the larger the opportunity for those assets to work hard for you. Remember, the name of the game is to build as much assets so that there will come a time that those assets will be the ones who will fully work hard for you, even if you are not fully working hard for money anymore. If you do not have an insurance plan yet, I encourage you to do your due diligence, to research, study, talk to or contact an AXA financial advisor, or click the link in the description below, because I really believe that Filipinos deserve the best. I really believe that at the prime of your years, you do not waste whatever you have invested, that you do not waste whatever you've saved, that it's important that what you worked hard for is something that you will benefit from, but not just you. Your family, your children, your children's children will benefit from the works of your hands. I hope you guys got a lot from this. I hope that this is something that's laying the right foundation when it comes to you building the proper rudiments of finance. Because I'll say this over and over, it's never about get rich quick. The road to financial freedom is about doing it right. The road to financial freedom is about laying the right foundation. The road to financial freedom is about doing the things that are hard, doing the things that are boring, doing the things that are not super sexy. The road to financial freedom is you doing the things right now when you have the capacity to. What are you waiting for? Learn more about it. This is Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.